Morning, church. Let's open with a word of prayer. Father, we thank you for the opportunity to come together as your people and glorify your name, Lord. That's why we are here this morning, Lord, not out of some obligation, some ritual, some tradition, but to glorify your name, to stand in unity with our brothers and sisters and sing praise to you. So we want you to be glorified this morning, Lord. Come and meet with us, Lord. I'm here to meet with you. Come and meet with me. I'm here to find you. Reveal yourself to me. Sing it again. Make that your prayer this morning. Are you here to meet with him? This is our prayer, Lord. I'm here to meet with you. Come and meet with me. I'm here to find you. Reveal yourself to me as I wait. You make me strong as I long. Draw me to your arms as I stand and sing your praise. You come, and you fill this place. Sing, I'm here. I'm here to meet with you. Come and meet with me. I'm here to find you. Reveal yourself to me as I wait. You make me strong as I long. You draw me to your arms as I stand and sing your praise. Won't you come and fill this place as I wait. You make me strong as I long. You draw me to your arms as I stand and sing your praise. You come, and you fill this place. Won't you come and fill this place. Lord, come and fill this place. We are hungry for your presence, Lord. We need to meet with you today. Reveal yourself to us, Lord. Sing it one more time. I'm here to meet with you. I'm here to meet with you. Come and meet with me. I'm here to find you. Reveal yourself to me. Sing it again. Reveal yourself to me. Reveal yourself to me.
Let there be joy for you in this house today, God. Let us be so grateful and thankful for all that you've done and all that you're doing. Let us be overwhelmed by your goodness, overwhelmed in all the right ways. God, we thank you today for your goodness, Jesus. And I see the works of your hands, all galaxies spinning a heavenly dance. Oh God, all that you are is so overwhelming. And I hear the sound of your voice. All at once it's a gentle and thundering noise. Oh God, all that you are is so overwhelming. And I'll delight myself in you. I'm captivated by your beauty. I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed by you. And God, I'll run into your arms. I'm unashamed because of mercy. I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed by you. Lord, I know the power of your cross, forgiven and free, forever you'll be We're overwhelmed. We're overwhelmed by you.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you for tuning in. This is Pastor George. And if you are watching this, you are probably not at Beaver Camp with the Eastmans over the weekend. Now, this is our third year doing the Beaver Camp retreat up in the Adirondacks, so obviously we're not having service right here at the church. But I wanted to do something here for you this morning if you didn't have the ability or the time to make it up there. So here's kind of what's going on. Now, this week, obviously, I have been starting my sabbatical. Actually, I started it last week. The 30th was the first day. And so I will be out of the church until the last part of August, if you weren't aware of that. So here's basically a couple of questions that I always get. This is my third sabbatical as the pastor here at the church, and there's always some questions that come along with it. And the one that usually ends up coming up every time, and I have gotten this from a few people, is, what is a sabbatical? Are you leaving? What's going on? No, I'm not leaving. That's not what's happening. A sabbatical is a time away. It is an opportunity to step away from your normal responsibilities, to kind of decompress. It is not a vacation, but it is an intentional disconnection from your daily responsibilities, just to allow yourself to process everything that's going on in your mind, to make sure your body gets some rest, let your mind get some rest, and then come back, and you can come back at everything new and refreshed, and hopefully not burdened with any of the worries that you may have had when you were going into the sabbatical. I take one every 5 years, and interestingly enough, hopefully we'll see what happens this time. But every single time I've tried to take a sabbatical, something has happened. But last time was 2020, and of course, COVID. So, it is what it is. This year, interestingly enough, those of you who've been with the church long enough, my wife has been battling cancer this year, and we are towards the tail end of that, hopefully. And so we aligned my sabbatical, this time off, to double up with her healing process. So I'll be helping along with that, so I can be home while she's recovering after surgery. But at the same time, this is the way things work. Life happens, right? I should be coming back to the church at the last full week of August, and then I think it's either the last Sunday in August or the first Sunday in September. I don't have my calendar right in front of me, but it's one of those days that I will be back in the pulpit. Actually, while I'm sitting in front of my computer, why don't I just go ahead and pull up a calendar and use technology, George? That would be wonderful. Let's see, August. So I will be back in the office on the 25th of August, and the 31st of August will be my next Sunday back in the pulpit, and we'll be hopefully picking up with our series through Acts shortly after that. So it should be a good summer. And while I'm out, I just wanted to leave you with just a couple of thoughts over the course of the summer. You've heard me talk about this a few times, the need for rest, the need for intentionally and purposefully stepping back. Everyone takes vacations at some point in time. Hopefully you do. And that's vacations are usually not necessarily rest, because you're usually going somewhere to do something, and you're trying to fill up your time while you're there as much as you can. So most people end up needing to come back from their vacation so that they can get some rest before they go back to work, right? So when you're thinking about stuff like that, that's the difference between a vacation and a sabbatical. The idea of a sabbatical is an extended period of time where you can disconnect completely and just allow yourself to settle. And it's amazing to me how long it actually takes for your mind to work things out, and to everything you've been chewing on, everything you've been considering, all future plans, anything going on in your life at the moment, how long it actually takes to let that all work through. And that is important in order for us to be healthy as we move forward. One of the mistakes that we tend to make is we think about this whole toughen up, be strong, push through, you can make it, man up, however you want to say it. But the reality is, even Jesus stepped away. Even Jesus took time away so that he could rest. And from the very beginning, even God took a rest after the 6 days of creation, the seventh day of creation. What does it say? He says he rested. And what did he order us to do? To take time on a regular basis to rest. So this is something that's very important. And so what I want to talk to you a little bit about today is what I would call, what I've titled The Power of Still Waters. And it's based around Psalm 23. I apologize if my camera is pausing every now and then. I don't know why it's doing that, but I've seen it a couple times up on the screen. So if it continues, I do apologize. But basically, let's take a look at Psalm 23, and I'm just going to share a few thoughts as I work my way down through the psalm. We'll see how long this goes, and then we'll wrap up and I'll let you get going on through your day. So Psalm 23 reads this way. It's all of 6 verses, and it says, Yahweh is my shepherd. And I'm reading from the Legacy Standard Bible. So it says, Yahweh is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil, and my cup overflows. Surely goodness and loving kindness will pursue me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And that's just an awesome song. David gave to us a treasury of thoughts and inspirations about the Lord. He was truly a deep man of thought, and he was truly a deep man of understanding when it comes to the character and nature of God and God's relationship between us and him. And in this psalm, you have 2 basic views of the character of God. You have the good shepherd, and you have the good host. And it's pretty interesting when we look at this, because as people, we're living in a real world where you have jobs and responsibilities and families, and you also have hobbies and interests and sports and all these things that we try to do, and we try to squeeze all of this stuff in to a very short period of time. Still, no matter who you are, no matter how amazing you are, no matter how skilled you are, or how much knowledge you have, or how successful you are, how much money you are, it doesn't make any difference. You still only have 24 hours in a day and 7 days in a week. That's all you have. And so all of our lives are still confined within the same parameters in the same box. And so none of us are given more time than others. Some of us are just a little better at using that time. But no matter how you look at it, we're still trying to cram as much stuff as we possibly can. Trying to cram 10 pounds of life into a 5-pound bag. It's just not doable. But we all still do it. We burn the candle at both ends. However you want to say it, whatever quaint expression you want to use to get to the point, get the point across. You understand what I'm saying? And so we do this, and we can do it for so long. We can get away with it. We can be tough. We can go without a little sleep. We can miss a meal here or there. It's not that big a deal. But at some point in time, it's going to catch you. And people who ignore it and they just try to push through, and maybe it'll work it out, what they end up doing is we end up existing in this state of constant burnout. And I know this because I lived this for a long time. When I was working in restaurants, when I was managing places, it was a normal week to work 60, 70 hours. It was just a normal process. That's just what you did. Because when people were out and they were, on weekends and at nights and on vacations and special days, that's when you were busy. So that's when you needed to be there. And you can do that for a period of time, but at some point in time, you just hit this wall, and you either take steps to correct it, or you end up living in this constant state of burnout. And for years, I lived in a constant state of burnout. And when I became a pastor, what I wanted to do, I wanted to make sure that there were systems in place to prevent that from happening. Because there's a fine line between being productive and being being useful and being getting things done, making things happen, and just being busy. It's easy to be busy. It's a lot more difficult to be productive. You can be more productive and less busy. in your life, because what I find is the people who tend to be the most busy are the least productive, because they're doing too much to actually do anything well, and the things that they are doing typically take longer than they should, or they're finished with less skill. They're finished at a lower quality because you have too many things that have to happen right now, so something has to give, and it's usually the quality and care that we put into something. And so there's this process that God put into place for our benefit, so that if we follow this pattern, if we do this, then it not only helps us in the long run to not get to that place of consistent, just living in a constant state of burnout, but it actually allows us to be more productive in a shorter period of time, because we're doing things well instead of just trying to do a lot of things. So when I see a psalm like this, I'm reading this, and whenever I read this, I always think the same thing. I try to put in my mind where David must have been in his own mind and in his own life as he's speaking this, as he's putting this to pen. Because like anything, even every now and then, I've written a couple worship songs and things like that, and no matter who you are, and I've done just some little writing, but no matter who you are, you don't just sit down and pen this out without, it's just coming to me right now, blah 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 blah. That's not how that's going to work. This is probably something that David chewed on over and over and over again, and tossed back and forth before it finally made it to paper. And so I'm imagining how much this was in his life on a regular basis, and how much this stuff was working through him until he finally phrased it in a way where the Holy Spirit led him to put this on paper. And I think that's absolutely fantastic. Now listen to the confessions that are in here. Okay, and this is the devotional part. Sorry if I've been droning a little bit on. No, I do not have a script. I knew what I wanted to talk about, did some research, and I sat down, and we just kind of go. So here we are. So you're getting this unfiltered, I guess is the right way to say it. But let's look through these 6 verses, just kind of see what I'm talking about. The first 4 talk about the good shepherd, and the last 2 talk about the good host. So right off in verse 1, Yahweh is my shepherd, I shall not want. There is a declaration there, and then there's a promise that comes with it. God is my shepherd. The shepherd was not just simply the person driving the sheep to the next field. The shepherd was the one that was there to care for the sheep, to make sure the sheep stayed healthy, to make sure the sheep were fed, to make sure the sheep were kept safe. And some people get irritated about that because I don't want to be looked at as a sheep. Well, I got news for you. When it comes to the difference between us and God and who's going to be leading us, He's a shepherd, we are not. That makes us sheep. And at the same time, honestly, look around. Most of us are about as smart as sheep, so that's kind of the way it works. You see some of the reels you see on TV of the guy pulling the sheep out of the ravine that it just fell in, and then the sheep runs away and comes back and jumps back in the same ravine just a little further down. That just so reminds me of so many times in my own life where ooh, got out of that one, and then poof, right back into the same mess. It's just humanity. It makes me laugh. But Yahweh is my shepherd. He is the one who is guiding me. He is the one who's protecting me. He is the one who's providing for me. He is the one who is watching over me as I go through this life. And because of that, I shall not want. And what that means, it does not mean that everything I will ever need and ever desire and ever want for myself will just be brought before me. That is not what that means. It means that as people, okay, as I submit to the Lord as my shepherd, as I come under his authority as my shepherd, I shall not want. I have given myself over to the Lord, and therefore I know that what I need will be provided. I just need to trust and follow and be obedient to that, because he is the good shepherd. And because I have submitted myself to him willingly, remember, God is never going to force you to follow him. He's never going to force you into heaven. He's never going to force you to do anything. We do it willingly. We come under his authority willingly. He is my shepherd. That's not something that God is telling us. That is something that we are proclaiming to everybody else. And you can actually look at another side of this, and you go to Romans 10, I think it's Romans 10:9. If you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord, Another way to say that would be if you tell the world that God is your shepherd, that he is the one who's in control, he's the one who's taking care of you, and then believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. This is along those same lines. We are choosing to do this. We are telling the world, Yahweh is my shepherd. He is the one whom I follow. He is the one whom cares for me. And because of that, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures, and he leads me beside quiet waters. He makes me lie down in green pastures. God brings us to a place, and then you look at the Sabbath. You look at the days of rest that God is asking us to do. That is making us lie down in green pastures. If we follow him, if we follow the shepherd, he will lead us to a place where we can lie down in green pastures. Green pastures are a place of sustenance. They're a place of rest. They're a place of recuperation. They're a place of health. They're a place of safety. God makes me lie down in those green pastures. And by making me lie down, what he's doing is he's making me trust him. He's making me put my faith in him and release myself into his protection. I am laying down in this green pasture because I am safe, I am provided for, I am taken care of. I am being looked over by the good shepherd. I have nothing to fear. And he leads me beside quiet waters. You think about water that is raging, water that is just screaming down, moving really fast. That's dangerous water. Quiet waters, that's the kind of water you can wade into. That's the kind of water you can dip into and become refreshed. That's the kind of water that can breathe life back into you. Anyone who's ever looked out at a lake at sunset or the ocean at sunset, and you got that calm, glassy water, there is just something about that. Maybe I'll find a little video or a picture or something and put it up here at this point. If it's happening and you're hearing my voice, that means I actually found it. If it's not, then that means I didn't. But all that stuff is happening. There's something healing and refreshing about that. So he leads me beside quiet waters. He brings me to a place where I can rest and recuperate and be restored. He does that because he's the good shepherd. He restores my soul. He guides me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Now, this is very interesting. He restores my soul. This is that coming to faith, that understanding that we are not perfect, understanding that we are distant from God, understanding that we are not right on our own. We are not righteous on our own. We are not even good on our own. But he restores my soul. So he takes me from that place of rebellion, and then he restores me to himself. You think about this? How does he do this? He guides me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. He leads me in the ways, because he's the good shepherd. He leads me in the paths that will lead me back to him, that will bring me closer to him, that will make me understand and live according to the teachings of Scripture and according to the character and nature of God. He's leading me in that direction. He's not just leaving me where I am, hoping eventually I'll bumble my way around this world and fall in the door of heaven if I can find it eventually. That's not what he's doing. He's leading me, and he's restoring my soul, and he is guiding me in the paths of righteousness, showing me where I'm going wrong, and then showing me where I can change and do it right. And he does it for his own name's sake. And it says, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Now, sometimes we can look at the numbers in these verses and we think that they're completely separate thoughts. This is not what this is. Remember, the numbers were put there for our benefit so that we can find things when we're looking for them, but that is not what this is. This whole passage, 1 through 4, is one thought. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures and leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. This is all relating back to the shepherd. Because the shepherd would carry the rod and he would carry the staff. The staff had that big shepherd's hook on it. A lot of times that was really simple. That was to grab a sheep by the neck when it's being stupid and pulling it off to make sure that it gets to where it's supposed to go so it doesn't hurt itself or do something dumb. And the rod was a throwing rod, and it would be a piece of wood. It could be 2 feet 2 feet long. It was usually something you could hold in your hand, but it was a heavy, heavy, heavy piece of wood that you could throw at wolves or whatever, and it would either drive them off or kill them because you were protecting your sheep. The shepherd carried those 2 tools, and he carried those 2 tools not to act over us as a totalitarian, but to protect and guide us. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Okay, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Do not confuse the harshness of the directions of God with evil. That is not what's happening. The harshness of the directions of God and the guiding of God and the leading of God in some circumstances is not an evil. It is because he loves you. It's because he cares for you. It is because he is the good shepherd. He's keeping you from these things by leading you in the paths of righteousness. We don't necessarily want to go in paths of righteousness on our own. We tend to go off and do whatever the heck we want, and he has to sometimes forcibly bring us back for our own good. So he carries the rod and the staff with him. And you think about this. Even though I walk through the valley is the deepest part of the range. The mountain peaks are on both sides, but now we're in the valley. Sometimes we take that valley because it's the path of least resistance. Even though there are safer ways to travel, we tend to just follow the way that is going to cost us the least to get there. Sometimes that's walking through the valley of the shadow of death. So we are in this world around us. I mean, you'd have to be living under a rock to not see some of the things that are going on in Israel and Iran, even in our own country, the insanity that is happening. We live in New York. Just seeing what's going on in New York City, I am just scratching my head with some of the inability for people to make good decisions. It's just unbelievable what we are allowing ourselves to put our faith in. It's insanity. It's just absolute insanity. I just can't wrap my mind around it. But we're walking in that, and it can be very easy to look around and get scared, become fearful of everything going on around us because we think, this country is spiraling out of control. We're heading to hell in a handbasket, however you want to say it. But we're Christians. We don't need to be fearful of those things. We don't submit to them either, but we're not fearful of those things. Even though we're walking through this valley of the shadow of death, where we know the people around us and some of the views, some of the difficulty and the evil that is around us would happily watch us suffer and die. Make no mistake about it. I fear no evil. Why? Because the shepherd is with me. He is all the power and all the authority. He has all the capability. If I just put my faith in him, I am not going to lose. If this life of mine comes to an end, it doesn't make any difference. I still win in the end, because no matter when my life comes to an end, it's coming to an end at some point in time. The difference is when my life comes to an end, a new life begins because of what my shepherd has already done for me. I don't lose by this life coming to an end. I win by this life coming to an end. I'm not looking to win this race tomorrow, but at the same time, I'm not afraid, and I'm not worried about that process. It's just going to happen at some point in time. Fine. When it does, I'll be ready with it. But until that day, I'm not going to fear any evil because he is with me. He walks through this valley with me. I'm not alone, and neither are you. No matter how difficult your life is going, no matter how fearful you may be of the things that are going on around you, you do not need to fear because God will walk through this life with you. Just remember that. You're not alone, no matter how alone you might be feeling. The only person that's trying to make you feel alone is the enemy. It's the enemy of your soul, the one who's trying to get you away from God, to get you to think that you're on your own, to think that you're abandoned, and that's never been the case. We fear no evil because not only is he with me, but his rod and his staff, they comfort me. So now that's the good shepherd. So now we get to this part of the good host. It says, you prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You have anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows. So prepared a table before me in the presence of my enemies. There's a lot of different ways that you can look at this. My favorite one is basically this, that even in the midst of all of the nonsense around me, where all the stuff going on, all the evil that we see in the world, all the difficulty we see in the world, God looks at you and says, hey, sit down for a second. You look hungry. Sit down, rest, get something to eat, get refreshed, and then you can go out. Don't worry about it. The enemies, just forget it. They're not going to be there to bother you. It's not like they can do anything to you anyway. I won't let them. So just relax, grab a bite, and then you can get back to the fight later. That's what comes to my mind when I think about this. And he says, "You have anointed my head with oil." That had a couple different meanings at that point. That could be an anointing as a king, a ruler, or a child of God. It could also be a type of preservation, type of healing. At this particular point in time, remember, they didn't have antibiotics and things like that. Sometimes you'd have a sore, and they would put a type of oil on it or a salve, and it basically would cover it up, and it would allow you to heal correctly. So there's a couple different ways of looking at it. After the enemies have been with me and I'm beaten and I'm battered, the Lord covers my head with oil so that I may heal and I may be refreshed, while I'm sitting there having a meal while my enemies are outside waiting for me to come back out. It's pretty awesome. He says, my cup overflows. The blessing that I have been given is too much for me to contain. It's not all for me. My cup overflows. I have enough because the good shepherd has cared for me and the good host is caring for me. I have enough so that I can actually share it with the people around me because my cup overflows. And surely goodness and loving kindness will pursue me all the days of my life. And that goes right back to the shepherd. The shepherd is good. The shepherd is loving kindness, and he will pursue you and pursue me all the days of our lives because he does not want to lose that which he has gained. Jesus is here to regain what was lost back in creation. He has done that by his work on the cross. We are his. We have committed ourselves to him. We are followers of Christ, and he will pursue me all the days of my life so that I stay leading me in those paths of righteousness. The goal is that we would stay with him all the days of my life. And then, of course, you have the end goal, that last line. And I will dwell in the house of Yahweh forever. Two ways to look at that. That can be here partially. I will dwell in the house of Yahweh, meaning in the presence of God, in the glory of God. I will be following the will of God. Some people will look at it that way. I look at this more along the lines of when my eyes close on this side of eternity and open on the other, I am in the house of Yahweh, where I will be forever. Because the Lord is my shepherd, because I have allowed him to protect me and to care for me, to bring me places of rest, to give me the times to be refreshed and renewed and healed, because he leads me in those paths of righteousness, because even though that we're in the valley of the shadow of death, because I fear nothing, because he is my shepherd, because of all the things that he has done. He has pursued me all the days of my life. I have maintained myself as his. I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Because the shepherd is good, because the host is good, because I have recognized the goodness of God, and I have committed myself to following the paths of the teachings of Scripture and trying our best to live out the character and nature of God, knowing fully we'll never get it right. The salvation brought to us by Christ allows us to dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And I think that is an amazing thing. It is no matter what the price is on this side of eternity, it is worth paying. No matter what we're doing, it is all worth it. That's the power of still waters. That's the power of green pastures. That's the power of coming under the authority and the guidance of the Good Shepherd. And I hope over the summer you recognize that you have a choice, and you've heard me talk about this multiple times as I've been getting ready for my for this time away. You have a choice to be busy, or you can make the choice to be effective. This sabbatical and this time away, for me, is a time to make sure that I can be effective and not just busy. Being busy is easy. Being effective is hard. And so I hope that over the course of this summer, you take the time, connect with the people in the church, connect with people that you haven't had time to connect with on a regular basis. Invite people over for a fire. Go to the beach. Go on the boat. Go skiing. Whatever it is that refreshes you. Whatever it is that brings you joy, and bring other people from the church with you, and connect. Develop new relationships. But more important than anything, find the place of rest. Find the place where you can lie down in green pastures and be led beside still waters. Find those places where you can relax in the presence of God, where you can relax and trust in the provision and the protection of God, and you can allow yourself to be renewed so that when the time comes to get back to work, you're ready to go. And that none of those things are going to happen by accident. Rest does not happen by accident. Rest is not the absence of activity. Rest is a purposeful choice made by you to rest. And sometimes that's even in the midst of chaos. You make a point to rest. It is a choice. So this summer, make the choice to rest. Give yourself the permission to be renewed and refreshed so that you can start over when it comes time to get back to business. You're ready to go. Instead of just dreading the next thing, you can get to that point where you're actually looking forward to being busy again. That's when you know you're actually rested. I hope you take time to do it. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope it spoke to you a little bit today. Samantha and I will miss you all over the summer. I had a few questions that were asked. Hey, Pastor, is it okay to drop stuff off at your house? Is it okay to give you a call? Things along those lines. I would only ask this. If you have a need, if you have a concern, please call the church first, 315-688-4500. And then Ashley will get that message in the office, and then she will make sure that it gets to the right person. If you have my number, if you need to get a hold of me, still do the same thing. Go through the church, and then it will get to me in the right direction. I will be in and out of the office throughout the summer periodically. Like I said, it's not a vacation. It's an intentional breakaway. But there's still things that I'm looking to do over the summer. There's still some points of study that I want to make sure that I'm doing over the summer. And that's just for personal growth, and I actually enjoy these things. It is the study is actually rest for me. I know that sounds very weird, but it's just the truth. But my goal is that we avoid this. I hear this every time. Every time I've taken a sabbatical, I've gotten these phone calls throughout it. I would pick up the phone and I would say, and I hear on the other end, "Hey, Pastor, this is so and so. I know you're on sabbatical, but." I love that you call. I love that you want to talk to me about something, but I would ask that you first go through the church, because there may be somebody else that has been trained, capable, and is ready to help you. And I want to, one, give them a chance to do that because that's what they've committed to doing. And two, I want to be able to commit to this time away without having to make special considerations. So I would ask you to please just think about what the need is, and then we'll see how things are going. But like I said, please contact the church first. The elders and Abel, and the deacons are more than happy to help you. And Ashley Ashley will be in the office all summer, on summer hours. But she can definitely get get you directed to the right point. And if you call the church, our new phone system there'll be 3 mailboxes. One is mine, one is Abel's, and the other one is Ashley's. And you can leave a message for me, and throughout the summer I'll check them. But if I don't get back to you soon, it's okay. We're trying to be intentional about things this summer, and I'm looking forward to seeing what God has for us in the fall. There's some really great things we have planned for the fall, and thankful for this time and the opportunity to be on this sabbatical, and we're looking forward to seeing what God does with it over the summer. And again, thank you for for understanding and being part of this little journey. And yeah, so I'm gonna leave it there. I'm just gonna go ahead and jump out. I never know how to. I'm literally sitting in my office, just kind of talking to a screen. So it's always awkward trying to figure out exactly how to end this. So I figured I would let you know how awkward it was, and then I would just go ahead and jump out. So Lord bless you. Have a phenomenal summer, and I will look forward to seeing you guys in the fall. And until then, Lord bless. Take care.